All right, settle in, buttercups, because today we are doing something totally different. A QA extravaganza fueled by your brilliant questions and my unfiltered, slightly caffeinated answers. Shout out to Woody Gamertag for the mail. Monday shout out. But honestly, my inbox has been overflowing these past few weeks like a leaky faucet of financial angst. And the questions, oh man. The questions are too good, too real, too juicy to keep to myself. So we're airing it all out for everyone, especially for the brave souls who sent them in. I'm gonna squeeze in as much as I possibly can. Let's dive straight into the deep end. I'll read them one by one, maybe even flash them on the screen if I'm feeling fancy, and then prepare yourselves. For my brutally honest, no BS dead serious opinion, here we go. Question number 1. Hi, I recently came across your channel or your video about retiring by 30, and it really resonated with me. Great work. I'm 19 years old, currently working a warehouse job, and I've managed to save up around 80 grand by living extremely frugally and investing as much as possible. I've been grinding hard, working 6 days a week, 12 hours a day with the goal of achieving financial freedom, so I don't have to work until I'm 65. What I really want is the freedom to do what I want, when I want, however I want. However, I've been struggling to take action on potential business ideas. I'll have ideas, but I often hold back from pursuing them. What advice would you give to someone in my situation? Who almost tripped over my words there. First off, thank you. Seriously, I know I replied to you privately. This was before the email avalanche hit. But let me tell you, this is a common theme, a recurring nightmare for many, and frankly, I wrestled with this beast myself early on, and just to put it out there, if this is legit, and it absolutely sounds like it is, 80 grand at 19 years old, that is not just good, that is absolutely insane. You are light years ahead of most people your age, and I'm not playing the comparison game for the sake of it. But it is crucial to acknowledge benchmarks. Money isn't just about accumulating, it is about setting goals. And you, my friend, are crushing it. Seriously. Congratulations. Give yourself a pat on the back. You clearly have a master's degree in saving. I was exactly the same way, but let me hit you with some truth right off the bat. This is where I got a tiny bit lucky. You're in a warehouse job, right? And let's be real, there isn't a ton of transferable skills coming out of that, and I think you know that, which is incredibly self-aware of you. You've already figured out, hey, I'm not doing this for the next 30 to 40 years. You could make millions doing that, and I promise you, you'd still feel empty, unfulfilled, and you already know that, which is fantastic. So I genuinely appreciate that mindset you've got, that burning desire to create your own path. I've preached about this a million times now, but at 19, you are ridiculously young. I did a video about this last week, but back in high school, I basically threw myself into every crazy idea I could imagine, from wholesaling random junk, to trying to flip cars online and charging a finder's fee, connecting business owners with private equity firms. You name it, I tried it, every single thing. Literally. Now, my recommendation for you is one of two things, and only two. Number 1, I also did a video on this, I think it was last Wednesday. Learn sales. This isn't just about making money, though it will absolutely boost your bank account over time. It is about building unshakable confidence and equipping yourself with the skills to eventually launch your own thing. If you ever want to start a business, you absolutely need to know how to sell. These are non-negotiable skills, so that is option number 1. And honestly, that is the one I'm leaning heavily towards. If you're still feeling that entrepreneurial itch and you're truly inclined to pursue it. Here is option number 2, evenings and weekends, or whenever you can carve out the time, especially during holidays. Or right now, just map out just one idea that truly speaks to your soul. Ideally something service-based, so your startup costs are practically zero. This is where you could, I don't know, start a landscaping business, going door to door, or a marketing company. But again, it always circles back to those fundamental skills. And I'm not going to shy away from it because I've seen both paths work beautifully, but in most cases, I'm going to go back to number 1. So you want something online, something that offers freedom. If you truly wanted to start a business, you'd have to master cold emailing. You'd have to put yourself in front of potential customers somehow. So think cold email, LinkedIn outreach, cold calls, Reddit threads, offer to work for free in exchange for a killer case study, or work on a performance basis for your first few clients, like I did with lead gen, and then once they start seeing amazing results, that is when you charge them. That is the inherent risk of being your own boss. You're going to have to front the initial effort, and sometimes the initial capital. So, I really recommend learning sales. Watch my sales video, break it down step by step, like, okay, get on Upwork, scour forums, dive into LinkedIn, and start exploring those sales roles. Because you can make an absolute boatload in commissions. Now with your warehouse job, you'll need to navigate that carefully, right? And I want to emphasize this. If you're investing a good chunk, invest some of that 80 grand into your education, into your skill set. Because the single best investment you will ever make is in yourself. It is you. So be smart about that. And I don't know, man, I can tell you're hungry. I can tell you want it bad. You're 19 years old. You have an ocean of time ahead of you. You could fail spectacularly for the next couple of years, and you'd still be completely fine. So I would start right now learning sales, and I mean 80 grand. You've got more than enough of a buffer to keep yourself comfortable. So keep that frugal lifestyle going, stack your cash like a pro, and strategically build your exit ramp out of that warehouse job. Question number 2. So, I'll just get right into it. Hey man, hope all is well with you. I'm emailing you about your 2 videos I watched. One of them was 9 to 5 one, and I think the financially freedom one. I love them both, and I just wanted to ask you a few questions. I'm 23 years old finishing up my associate's degree, and I'm also a substitute teacher in the district I work in, and it is not that bad. I make $3,600 to $3,800 a month, sometimes more with bonuses. And I've had this job for almost 3 years. I've not spent money on anything flashy, and I live with my parents for a little. I have a 2009 Honda Civic Nice Respect. I'm planning on driving till I can't anymore, and I also keep up with my car maintenance. I've been able to save more than 40 grand due to being frugal. I recently just got an apartment with my girlfriend for around $1,800 a month, all utilities included except electric and Wi-Fi. We go half on everything. Reason for moving is 'cause my stepdad, and I had issues, and I couldn't do it anymore. I have no loans at all, just rent and bills. That is it. My question to you is, with that cash, my savings, what would be a good thing to do? Roth IRA and invest high-yield savings account. I eventually want to leave my job for something better in the graphic design and marketing field. Sorry, this is a lot. I hope you see this. Your videos are great. Thank you, Alright. This is an interesting one. I love getting straight to the juicy details. Your income, it is not bad at all, at least for now, and your expenses, my friend, are absolutely incredible. I absolutely adore the car situation, running that Honda Civic into the ground, a true testament to financial wisdom. Looking back 6 years ago, I was a complete idiot. I did the exact opposite, bought an older BMW, and it started falling apart literally days later. But that is a horror story for another video. But seriously, I love your situation. You're in what I'd call a no-fail situation. It would be genuinely difficult to mess things up. Your rent is unbelievably cheap, and if you and your girlfriend are genuinely splitting everything down the middle, your monthly burn rate is exceptionally low. You're in a prime position. 100%. I stand by this. Run that Civic until the wheels fall off. Do not buy anything flashy. No new cars. No crazy purchases. There is a profound sense of freedom that comes from not having a car payment. Because for so many of us, myself included, we're mentally conditioned to believe we always need one. It is like, 2 years old, 3 years old, gotta get a new one. No, for anyone listening, that is stupid. Do not do that. Car debt is a silent killer of dreams. And funnily enough, I also moved out because of issues with my stepmom. Yeah, there was some friction there, let's just say. And ironically, that pressure pushed me to be better. It was a brilliant decision. Actually, it put my back up against the wall, as silly as that may sound. I always say, if you have good parents, if you have a roof over your head, milk that situation for all it is worth, save as much money as humanly possible, but there inevitably comes a point where enough is enough and you just have to move out. And that, for me, was the catalyst. It put my back against the wall, so I think you're feeling that same pressure. And hopefully, that is what nudged you to send in your email. Now, let's get to the truly juicy details. I'd say, without a doubt, take maximum advantage of any tax-advantaged accounts you can get your hands on. A Roth IRA is basically free money, especially when the magic of compounding kicks in, and just set up a recurring buy either when you get paid or once a month for a very basic Vanguard index fund that mirrors the SP. This isn't financial advice. It is just what I personally do. Set it and forget it. Don't even look at it if you don't have to. Obviously, make sure it is properly buying things, but I would highly recommend doing that. But here is the most important part, the absolute crux of this question. I know you're probably not going to want to hear this, but most people don't, and it sounds cliché. But the single best investment that will effortlessly give you the highest return is you, yourself, right now with your savings. And the situation you're in, you have ample room to invest in yourself, because that is where you're going to get the unparalleled return. So invest in your own skills, your health, so you can be as sharp as humanly possible. I'm talking courses, books. If you need to speak with a consultant who can propel you a few steps ahead of your peers, or simply ahead in your own corporate journey, that is incredibly valuable. So, not to combine these too much with the last question, but sales is an excellent skill, and it sounds like you have a genuine interest in marketing, which is fantastic. Highly recommend. That is incredible. That is awesome, man. If you can eventually start freelancing, that would be amazing. You could freelance your design skills. So this is where I'd say learn from someone truly exceptional. I can't name specific people off the top of my head right now, but find individuals you genuinely trust, especially on YouTube. That platform has been an immense resource for me. Either consume as much of their free content as you can, and then, on the other side, just start testing. Start creating your own graphic images. Start dabbling in your own marketing initiatives. paid ads are massive right now. It is such an incredibly valuable skill to acquire, not just as a business owner, but as an agency owner, as a freelancer, and you can charge an absolute fortune for that. So I would say keep your expenses as physically low as possible. Obviously, learn these skills whenever you can. I would highly recommend not quitting your current job right now. Don't even worry about that. We are nowhere near that position yet. Keep stacking that cash in the background in the evenings. And on weekends, dedicate yourself to learning these new skills. Invest in yourself, and you're going to see the best return on that investment. And then I would say any excess cash you have, throw it straight into that index fund. I would also say any cash you're currently holding on the sidelines, 100%. Anything that is not actively invested, put it into a high-yield savings account, at least earn a few percent on it every single month. That way, it is not actively losing value to inflation. At least you can break even with inflation and just roll with it from there. Man, this one really resonates with me because this is exactly what I did when my car was finally paid off. I cannot adequately describe the weight that was lifted from my shoulders. And then, living at home, I was just trying a boatload of things. I've talked about this in another video, but go check that out, where I was literally just trying everything. I was just trying stuff to see what stuck, what didn't, what I liked, what I didn't. More importantly, and what I truly wanted to focus on. And that is when I finally launched my agency. And I see something very similar happening to you if you navigate that path properly, and you build yourself up strategically, anyway, to anyone listening. As always, I want you to win. If you've made it this far, and there are going to be more questions like this coming soon, so if you have any burning questions for me personally, shoot me an email, and we'll go from there. Stay boring, stay patient, peace.